Yarikabu Elizabeth. Vanilla yetu kariasera na limunale mapa. Tinwetikire kwa harara bana besukuru bage na ritunga kitaka kinene na rihimba na rula matoka. Ingana kesiri samunan na muwa masasi. Nario na bringa na muwa masasi ayo. Na amenye beto masasi ayi ali mwaramali yetu. So tumabya hona mote chipido na mote chipido singatabya mwoboba na muwana amamenye betu obwabana bavera hol kundi bobale bakakisa yebwangaria no mwera wa yakakisa yebokya hakuiku babu au erituba mwambondo onono mugura.
When the price used to be low, 20,000, 30,000, 15,000, these farmers could just go in their beds, sleep comfortably. But now these people, they stay sleepless night, even in daytime. They don't have time to go to the market or to go to the parties or to go to the churches. So it becomes a burden for this family who has vanilla. So if you look at the current situation, it is really it is the worst situation.
So I first came to Uganda to live on Ndali Estate in 1999, and that's when I started to form the vanilla company that we now have today. Because at the time there was no such thing as a fair trade vanilla even from Africa at that time. It was a slow start. We started with 50 farmers who became loyal to us, and they called themselves Mabuku Moringa Vanilla Farmers Association. Then we received a big order from a customer in 2005, and it grew then into 600 farmers, and then within the space of 2 months that grew into 1,200 farmers, all with the fair trade certification.
The good quality of vanilla, to know it that is a good quality, it should be tested from the laboratory, and the minimum of vanilla content should be 2%. And for us here in Ndali, we used to get between 2%, 3%, and even 4% for the split vanilla.
Around 2004, prices suddenly crashed till they dropped from $400 to $200 to $100 a kilo. They dropped right down to $20 a kilo and then to $17 a kilo in the space of about less than 2 years. So suddenly this meant that farmers were being paid the most ridiculous amount for their green vanilla because the market couldn't sustain anything higher, so they were being paid anywhere between 1,000 shillings and 3,000 shillings. That was at a time when the dollar was around 2,000 shillings to $1. So during this period, we were able to pay farmers 5 times what we call the conventional price, so what other buyers were paying and what the general market rate was offering for vanilla. So from that perspective, farmers in the Ruanzoris in our area amongst our farmers were doing fantastically well. They were contented. But then what started to happen was the natural cycles of crop growing, and especially for vanilla, has been going into boom bust, boom bust. So prices gradually started to rise a little, and meanwhile other buyers from around Uganda found that their traditional buying areas around Kampala central region had all dried up because farmers had uprooted their vines. So now everybody was coming to our farmers, now called Ruanzori Cooperative Union, to Ruanzori farmers. These other buyers would put pressure on them to sell early. So in some instances, when farmers would hold out and refuse to buy, they would actually then go and hire a thief. They would say, you go in there, raid that farmer's garden. Now I know the minute you raid that farmer's garden, there's going to be mass panic because everybody in the region is going to be scared that their vanilla is going to be stolen because now they know a buyer is in town. But once that happens, farmers have very little resilience or methods to prevent the fear of theft. So then there would then be mass buying within the village, within that trading centre, and farmers would need to sell their vanilla.
a kilo now of green vanilla is $70, but it involves a lot of risks. It is now like dangerous to grow vanilla.
Vanilla bakibayo eri tukana bakibayo ituchisia mezi abiri twuli neribwalaro hati tukabya tukana eri omusanga narwe iwe tukayo yitenda truje namatana yeno omusanga nerwe bibi babakatulemesayo etitwe tukaola vanilla.
Ebitsibu byasena akatala kuwene ekyo kubanza babibi abibi akatale evanira era ekatungira akatale era kumitwalo mitwalo 22 eka kumitwalo 10 abibi babilongere umere kairo uma kusanga hatya omu Uganda yosi sali indi project eute market sali kirime kyosi nyanga byomwani anga besyamboko ekiuta akatale ngevanira abibi bamatanye bemirundi ikirana nomunani wosi kusanga hane nabandi ngana bahamba nabatwana mu court ne baba bomu ngoma banamuyikane mwali ndimba kana saa bamibere mali omu ya mwenzi wetu awo mubasane mbondo ye mbata mulasa betu mubatala masasi mu mwanya nero bamateveta ne bamashyaba kanozele kandi hanena mwenzi wa na neighbor wetu hanu na member wetu hanu nayo mubakana mulwanisha bamasa abantu 10 abi betu mwisa mubuya bose babya nembundu neryo omoji oyo kalangiro oyo kalindere meri ni amatema ko mu manesa eno ane ko njingweka ekwara hospital esambenduka syabareho baba alibayazeri asane bawula luba neryo abibi nebingiramu ku currently okay kubeyerwe kukatala akaliwo kanu esaha eno isilinga milioni 30 na besufa etakandi nesaha eno ngute eroni ye banka milioni 10 singa ngendu twayo nyetu
obubwa tukina ute hanyike nyike enyena na yetu ya baba virtual tukina ute hanyike
obuli obwa fair trade nibuma kuwetu watikiri kusangwa hatya munabu bwe bukatokisa yobutukono akataraka byaho itwawe mu fair trade mutwaberende mutatukere kola emibiri yetu neranga ndabana wetu bakasoma nyanga bene sente sabya nyike betu ngwa tuwatita kulenga obuntu kulenga abandi kulenga sindu organizations esas kawulesa exporters. In fact okay etwaraho mukarangira omuyi munuwanyo omuyi waye namatokerwa ni omuyi waye abana baye bado banamusoma masukuru we private neryo musanyu watikirye ni kumibiri yaye noko bulwere kusanga nje abantu yabakalwana wasanga na mtu wango wa Dr. Koro sente so ruhunda natoka yimu wa Dr. George Mbarara sente so ruhunda private hospitals.
So one of the ways we've been trying to address the terrible situation that's happening right now with all this premature harvesting, theft and even killings of farmers and thieves is working together with other vanilla processors in Uganda, together with the Ministry of Agriculture, to try to find ways to mitigate what's happening. So the main thing that we're trying to do is to establish bylaws at sub-county level which will set a harvest date for vanilla beans. You then need a very active police force or security to be able to enforce that law. So that will also be our challenge, is whether being a developing country, whether we actually have the resources to follow through with our bylaws and ordinances. But we feel that this is the first step. I'm turning all my passion and energies to a new school that we've been building. So there is a silver lining to it, because it's foolish from a business person's point of view, because what we're actually doing is all the profits we've made in vanilla over the previous years, we're now putting into the building and the sponsoring of children to be able to get a fantastic education. But instead we're channeling what we've got into creating this school, which is actually becoming my real joy and focus for now, while the vanilla industry is so quiet for us. Here in Uganda, there's a massive thirst for knowledge and for learning, because in a way that we just take it for granted in the West, here there are very little opportunities to learn and further your education. So there's a massive thirst, but it's massively under-resourced. So this school is offering children the opportunity to learn through active learning, a level of education that is even above what I was privileged enough to receive in the UK, where children are able to explore and follow their own passions. We call it inquiry-based education. We also have a lot of classes that take place in the outdoors, so it's very nature-based. So it's not the qualifications that you gather in your life that make you who you are. It's the type of exposure that you get that makes you who you are. So the type of people, the culture, the type of world, these are what make you who you are.
Nadia sahan twabi tukena lamba ayetwa ayaulawa ayikuliriye kandi tukasatese musanga neryo emibimba ikatro kwa ibana mwibayo mutsokolono akanyelambira kutseba no mwetunji akabibana mukusango banesha bandu bali kututimbira akakuline neshara lambi nesha bindu ebikalu zona maholi nyakesalamberere mali yetu eru erikali kisa mukuli